Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for watching my video today. We are now only 2 days away from championship weekend. This Sunday, the AFC Championship, NFC Championship games will be played, and we'll have this year's Super Bowl locked in. And I'm really excited to see these two games. I think they're both going to be really competitive, really interesting games. And looking at the AFC side of things first, you got the Bengals and the Chiefs. Obviously, Chiefs already had a major playoff win last week, probably maybe the hardest game they'll have to fight all season against the Bills in that absolutely thrilling game, one of the best playoff games, if not the best, that I've ever seen. You know, the Chiefs, a lot of people are talking about the overtime rules. Bills didn't get a chance to match, and that's certainly fair. But at the same time, Mahomes had to gut it out and get that win, come from behind, make sure. And the Bills thought they shut the door many times, especially in the last 30 seconds. Mahomes just He just kept fighting, and now the Chiefs are in the AFC title game for the fourth year in a row, and they're facing off against this Bengals team that they finally got the hump off their back. They won a playoff game for the first time in decades, and they won another one last week against the Titans. And say what you will about the Titans' game plan, the Bengals certainly deserve to win that game, and now we have this AFC title game, and we saw this game towards the end of the season, I believe in Week 17. The Bengals got the win, admittedly at their home stadium, 28-24. Chase was burning the Chiefs all game. Now, this game, just like that game, is going to be an offensive showdown. The Chiefs, they got Tyreek and Travis with Mahomes, and we know how dangerous those three are. Bengals, they're a lot more deep. I mean, obviously, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they have that chemistry stemming from their college days. They've been amazing all year. Jamar Chase had one of the best rookie seasons by a receiver of all time. But you also got Joe Mixon and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, even C.J. Yazama has been coming through lately. That offensive line is certainly a concern. And the Chiefs, guys like Chris Jones and Frank Clark, they're going to be able to get they're going to be able to rush the passer on that Bengals offensive line. Chiefs can kind of flip what happened to them in the Super Bowl last year on the Bengals. The Chiefs got obliterated because of their poor offensive line. They're going to be able to do that, I think, this Sunday to the Bengals. But both defenses, Bengals and Chiefs, are going to have a tough time stopping the other side. The Bengals, they're making the AFC title game for the third time in franchise history. The other two times they did that, they made the Super Bowl in the 1980s, losing to another team still in the race, the 49ers. Those times, we'll have to see if they can go 3 for 3 here. But I'm going to predict that they don't. I think the Chiefs, they've got that experience. Fourth straight AFC title game. This would be their third straight Super Bowl if they do get this win. I think they will. It's going to be coming down to the wire, but I just think I think Burrow needs at least one playoff defeat to really rise to the occasion in the future, I think. And that offensive line is actually the main reason I would predict the Chiefs as well. I think Chris Jones, especially, is going to have a really nice day against that Bengals offensive line. The Chiefs offensive line is much improved this year compared to last year, where injuries really depleted it. So I'm going to say the Chiefs, once again, are going to be in the Super Bowl. And, maybe not what I would have wanted, because the Bills, Titans, Bengals, all three of those teams I really was rooting for because they're fresh faces. But the Chiefs, they earned it. They've been playing fantastic the past 2 months, I would say, after a rough start to the season. So I'm going to have the Chiefs represent the AFC in the Super Bowl in my prediction here. Certainly not what I predicted with the Titans before the playoffs, but here we are. Now, looking at the other side of things, the Rams and the 49ers are the final teams in the NFC. Both of these teams made the Super Bowl in recent years. Niners 2 years ago faced off against the Chiefs. They lost in one of Mahomes' many fantastic fourth quarter performances. They were unable to take them down. The Rams the year before, after that controversial Saints game, the pass interference on Nickel Roby-Coleman, they got into the Super Bowl and they lost, I think, 13-3 to the Patriots in that defensive slugfest. Definitely not an entertaining Super Bowl, but here we are 3 years later for the Rams and the Niners, and division rivals, they're facing off. We've heard plenty about McVay and Shanahan, as well as Matt LaFleur, how they were on the same staff under Mike Shanahan in Washington. But they may be friends, but they're also division rivals, and Shanahan's taken the last 6 matchups. We've heard a lot of people talking about that lately. 6-0 in their last 6 showdowns, including Week 18, where the Niners came from behind. They won 27-24 in SoFi Stadium. A lot of Niners fans there because San Fran's just not that far from LA. Niners fans can make that trip. There's certainly a more passionate fan base in San Francisco, I would say. And, same situation here. SoFi again, because the Rams are the higher seed. You've been hearing rumblings that the Rams are trying to minimize the amount of Niners fans, trying to sell as much tickets to people in the LA area as possible, like the zip codes, however that ticket sales work. But when it comes down to this is two bitter division rivals. They know what it takes to get there. These coaches know what it takes to get there. Jimmy Garoppolo knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl because he has. Stafford, not necessarily, but he's had, he's gotten the monkey off his back, kind of like the Bengals. He's won his first playoff game 2 weeks back, and he won another one last week. Tampa almost came back, but he shrugged that off, connected with Cooper Kupp, got the Rams to the NFC title game. They'll be hosting it. And this game's just going to come down to opposite philosophies, I think. Niners, this team's more styled as a gritty, just grind out the win. We don't care if you're more talented than us. We're just going to get it done. And the Niners have plenty of talent. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, to name a few absolutely elite players on this team. But when you compare it to the Rams are just they're a classic LA team. You talk about the Showtime Lakers. You talk about the Dodgers. This Rams team, even though it might not have the history in LA like those teams, they've got that kind of talent. They added even more in midseason with Odell Beckham, who's been really good, Von Miller, who's been coming on. Even though they lost Robert Woods, they got Cam Akers back. A couple weeks back, he looked good in round 1 against the Cardinals. Not so much last week. Didn't make a huge difference though. So, is the talent of the Rams? Is McVay finally going to beat his buddy Shanahan, or is Shanahan going to move to 7-0 in these last couple seasons against the Rams and move on to another Super Bowl, a rematch with the Chiefs? The game last week against the Packers, I won't get into my Packers right now too much, but when you look at the Niners side of things, yes, it was an ugly game for them. They kind of just they just had a gutsy performance, were able to play slightly better than the Packers. They did get lucky with that special teams. Jimmy G did play poorly. But the key thing you got to raise here, the Niners offense isn't just dead now. They were in Lambeau in freezing conditions. Now they're going to be in a dome in LA. They're not too far from their home stadium in San Francisco, so the players, I'm sure, have been very relaxed over the past week or so. And I think I'm going to go with the Niners here. I think the momentum's on their side. I think the Rams, for as good as they are, all season long, something about the Rams to me has had just the sense of urgency isn't always there with them. I don't know why that is. Now maybe with Beckham playing better, with Akers back in the line, maybe that will not be the case this time around. But I got to go with the Niners here. I think they're going to be able to pull this win off. And I think we're going to get a rematch of the Super Bowl we had 2 years ago, right before COVID. It was actually a great Super Bowl. It's going to look very different this time. Guys like Deebo Samuel will have a much bigger role in this game. I think the Niners they're just better, I think, than they were last time around. But I don't know who's going to win that matchup. I would probably lean the Chiefs again, but it's going to be close. But I think I'm going to have the Niners once again beating the Rams to set up that Super Bowl rematch. But no matter what happens, I think any of these 4 possible matchups will provide a really interesting and entertaining Super Bowl. So I'm just excited to see how it shakes out this weekend. I'm excited to see how it shakes out a couple of weeks from now in that Super Bowl. And yeah, other than that, I just think it's been a really fun season. I'm excited to see how it ends. So that's going to do it for my championship weekend preview. Thank you guys for watching my video today. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. And I'm sure I'll be doing some sort of reaction to what happens this weekend, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, just have a great weekend and have a great time watching football.